What if I told you that the most honest thing a person can show you about themselves isn't their Instagram, isn't their job title, isn't even the way they dress? It's their car, the one they built. There's a guy. Let's call him Darius. 24 years old, lives in a mid-sized city, works at support, stable job, decent pay, comfortable life. Nothing remarkable, nothing wrong. But Saturday mornings, something shifts. He's in his garage before the neighborhood wakes up, coffee going cold on the workbench, phone open to a forum thread he's been reading for 3 weeks, and underneath him, a beat-up Mitsubishi Eclipse worth maybe $4,000 on a good day. He's already spent $11,000 on it. His coworkers think he's lost it. His mother calls it a phase. His girlfriend stopped asking when it'll be finished because she finally understood it's never going to be finished. That's not the point. So what is the point? Because here's what nobody tells you. That garage isn't just a garage. That car isn't just a car. And Darius isn't just some guy with a spending problem. What's happening in that garage on Saturday morning is one of the most psychologically fascinating things a human being can do. And once you understand it, genuinely understand it, you will never look at a modified car the same way again. Of everything a person owns, furniture, clothes, a phone, a house, a car is the only possession that moves through the world with you. It isn't static. It makes noise. It takes up space in public. People see it whether they choose to or not. That makes it psychologically unique in a way nothing else really matches. Consumer psychologists have studied what they call the extended self. The idea that the objects we own don't just sit beside us, they become part of us. We fold them into our identity, the same way we fold in our memories, our values, our beliefs. And the more we invest in something, emotionally, financially, creatively, the deeper that object merges with how we see ourselves. Now apply that to a car someone has spent 2 years building from the ground up. Every part chosen deliberately, every color argued over, every mechanical decision made after hours of research at midnight. That isn't transportation anymore. That's a self-portrait on wheels. And when it pulls out onto the street, it isn't just moving metal. It's a person announcing themselves to the world without saying a single word. But here's where it gets really interesting. The cars people modify rarely reflect who they currently are. They reflect who they want to become. Think about that for a second. A 21-year-old working retail isn't building a turbocharged, wide-body coupe because it matches his life right now. He's building it because it represents something ahead of him. Speed, freedom, capability, arrival. The car lives in his future. And every time he drives it, he borrows a little of that future for today. Psychologists call this aspirational identity, the version of yourself you're reaching toward. And humans are endlessly creative about the objects they use to represent that version. Some people buy clothes they haven't grown into yet. Some decorate apartments like the life they want already exists. And some people build cars that represent a self that's still becoming. Darius isn't just building an Eclipse. He's building a declaration. Every panel, every tune, every custom detail is him saying, I am not just what my job title says. I am not just what my bank account reflects. I am more than what this city sees when I walk by. That's not delusion. That's one of the most human things that exists. Now let's talk about something people don't like admitting. Status. Because it's real, it's powerful, and pretending it isn't part of this would be dishonest. Human beings are wired, biologically, evolutionarily wired, to want to be seen as capable and significant by the people around them. That's not vanity. That's survival instinct wearing a modern outfit. For thousands of years, your status within your group shaped literally everything. Who protected you, whether you ate, whether you mattered. That wiring doesn't disappear just because we invented desk jobs and streaming services. It just finds new channels. And in car culture, status has a very specific grammar. There are 2 audiences for every modified car. The general public, who simply turns their head at the sound or the look, and then the inner circle, the people who actually know what they're looking at. Because there is a massive psychological difference between impressing someone who can't tell a cold air intake from a stock filter and having someone walk up at a meet and immediately ask which turbo you're running. That second recognition, from people who speak the language, hits differently. It isn't shallow approval. It's earned respect within a community that has genuine standards. And that community, that's the part people outside this world almost never understand. Pull up to any car meet, any city, any scene, and don't watch the cars. Watch the people. Watch how they move. Watch the way someone's face changes when a stranger genuinely compliments their build. You're watching something that modern life has quietly made rare. We live in an age of digital connection and physical isolation. 500 followers and 2 real friends. Conversations through screens. Meals alone. The things that used to anchor people to physical community have eroded over decades. Car culture stepped into that gap, not by design, not on purpose, but it did. It creates a shared language, a set of values, an aesthetic code, and a reason to be somewhere specific on a Friday night around people who genuinely get it. For some people, that parking lot at midnight is the one place all week where they feel completely understood without having to explain themselves. That's not a small thing. That is a fundamental human need being met in a parking lot with exhaust smoke in the air. And beneath all of it, beneath the identity and the status and the community, there is something even more primal happening. Building something with your hands. Modern life has largely separated people from the direct experience of making things. Most of us push buttons, move files, produce things that exist only as data. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something ancient inside human beings that craves the opposite. The ability to hold a problem in your hands, solve it with skill, and stand back and look at what you created. Car modification delivers that in a way almost nothing else does. Because it isn't easy. It demands mechanical knowledge, patience, problem solving, a tolerance for frustration, and a willingness to tear something apart and start over. When someone pulls an engine, rebuilds it, drops it back in, and hears it fire for the first time, that isn't just a mechanical event. That's a person experiencing genuine mastery. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described a mental state called flow, complete absorption in a challenging task where time disappears and the brain runs at its absolute peak. Skilled builders describe this exact experience. Hours vanish. Problems become fascinating. The outside world ceases to exist. That isn't obsession. That is one of the healthiest psychological states a human being can be in. But here's what honesty demands. Not every modified car is a story of healthy expression and earned mastery. Some of it is darker. Psychologists call it compensatory consumption, building and modifying things to fill a gap that lives somewhere deeper, to demand from the world an attention and respect you don't feel you're receiving anywhere else. And in car culture, you can see it if you know what you're looking for. The person who can't genuinely engage with another builder's work without making it a competition. The one who modifies not because he loves the process, but because he needs the reaction. The one who spirals when the likes drop, when someone else's car pulls more attention at the meet, when the build that cost him everything doesn't return what he felt he was owed. When that happens, the car has stopped being a canvas. It becomes a mirror, reflecting back an insecurity that no turbo, no body kit, no follower count is ever going to fix. The most grounded people in any scene are always the easiest to spot. They're the ones who'd be in the garage at midnight even if nobody ever saw the car. They build because the building itself is the reward. That difference between creating from love and creating from need is worth sitting with, not just for car people, for everyone. So let's come back to Darius, still in his garage, coffee cold. $11,000 into a $4,000 car. Irrational? By spreadsheet logic, completely. By human logic, he's doing something deeply rational. He's building an identity. He's finding community. He's developing mastery. He's carving out a space of total autonomy in a world that almost never offers one. He's making a statement about who he is that no resume or LinkedIn profile could ever come close to capturing. The modified car isn't a symptom of something gone wrong. It's a symptom of something very, very human. The need to matter, the need to be seen, the need to make something with your hands and say, I built this. This exists because I decided it would. Car culture at its best is one of the most raw and honest forms of self-expression alive in the modern world. It happens in garages and parking lots instead of galleries. It's painted in wraps and primer instead of oils. But the impulse is identical to every artist who ever lived. I have something to say. And I found a way to say it. Every person who builds a car is answering a question the rest of the world never thought to ask. Who am I when nobody tells me who to be?